Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anytime you're watching this. This is the Soca Prince himself, Olijah Friday, and I'm here with Red Dog here at the Three Count Podcast.
Do you wanna get live with me? Do you really wanna ride with me? I'm in the club, baby, grind on me.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the Three Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And with this being season 5, and I don't know, like our 390 something episode, I would just hope you say it with me. I am your Sherpa, because like your tribal chief, acknowledge me. But like every good tribal chief, you gotta have someone who's been there, done that, and can do it more efficiently than you can. That's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. So who's entering the ring? You can find this person at Fight. You can find him at Next Brew 1CW. You can find this person at Versus Vibe. You can find this person at Championship Wrestling. He is a worker. He is a military personnel. He reps from Trinidad to New York to Virginia. He is Olijah Friday.
Yeah, what's going on, Red Dog?
Yo, what up, man? It's like, we've been planning this episode for like 2 years.
No, it's been like forever, but the thing is, life be life, and so like God's timing never wrong. So it's about the time that he's like, all right, let me get y'all on and everything like that, bro. But glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's funny because like on like Facebook or on Twitter or like Instagram, I'll just be randomly like I'll get loaded up, and then I'll like I took a like 4 weeks off from like the podcast, like just editing and stuff. And I had all this stuff like saved up in the bank. So then all of a sudden I put up there, I was like, yo, now that life is like finally starting to smooth out, like who wants to come on the podcast? And then you were right there and I was like, oh, we have to do this.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, man, we've been talking about this for a long time. So like, and then you just hit me up like an hour later, like, bruh. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely happening. I was like, we definitely getting this put in. Because we met at a couple different places, but the one I remember was at Fight. And being at Fight, you and I just we were supposed to be in a 4-way match together.
It was like
Fight.
No, it was supposed to be me and you one-on-one, and you had shout out to Pure Ignorance, by the way. You supposed to have Noah ringside with you, and then it became a 3-way. And then it became a 4-way, and then it was like, okay, we had to switch things up. They put you in the 4-way, and then had me and Noah go one-on-one.
Yeah, it was like, so I think they initially had us in a 4-way in DC, right? And then I don't remember, like, mind you, I don't want to knock nobody, but there was
it was the commission, because like it was a whole situation with that, like. And like me, you, and all the DMV people, we already know how like that commission roll, and it is like, wow, for real. Like
it was so bad. It was so bad.
God, if you know, you know.
Yeah. full transparency, right? Jesus. Yeah, because it was originally supposed to be a fatal 4-way, and it was supposed to be you, me, Carlson, and Noah. In the match, and then the commission and suddenly some paperwork lost, some stuff was denied, and it became Carlson and myself. And then the commission just came back and was like, oh, if you guys want to put that match on, you guys put that match on. And then they put you and Noah together. It was like, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah, because like one thing I do remember is like I had my paperwork ready to go. But then they was like looking through it and all that stuff. And then it was like, oh, well, you're missing this. I'm like, but y'all said y'all wanted this, this, and this. And all of that is on that paper. Yep. So like, I even tried to like make calls to some people, be like, hey, bro, like they asking for this, but isn't it on this paper? And they're like, yeah. And then 5 minutes before the show started, that's when they was like, yeah, you're good. I'm like,
yeah, it's like, bruh, it was just a whole bunch of like that's the thing though, is that like not okay. So maybe there is a commission out there that is like really good, right? I don't know, and I'm not gonna knock other people, but every commission that I've dealt with, like as far as first of all, like a wrestling commission, like let's just if you know where I've been, but every wrestling commission I've run into, man, has just been dog shit. Bruh, it is what it is.
It'd be a hassle sometimes. That's like, even like, but like come in, but like here in Virginia, it's like, sign the paperwork. Like, do you have you committed a felony? No. Have you ever got seriously hurt? No. All right, cool. Do what you need to do, and here's your license in a couple, in a little bit of time. And then wrestling in LA, you don't need no commission. It's just straight up like go, like Cali, North Carolina, New York, Jersey, all that stuff like that. So like, it's some reason it's always a hassle there, and it's just like, what? I mean, there's more stuff with them and everything, but that's not my story to tell.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, like, so like in other areas, right? That's outside. Well, it's inside, but outside of DC, we'll just call it that.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation about like, yo, I was like, what do you guys even do? And like, well, we make sure that you have a doctor there, and we make sure that that you guys weren't seriously injured, and we're looking out for the other wrestlers and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, but you don't have to do that. I was like, you can literally have a waiver, right? That says like, hey, yo, I'm signing this and that, if I'm doing this under my own will, and if I get injured, it's on me, not on you guys. But that's something that you guys don't have to do. So what do you guys do? And they were like, well, we just care a lot about the wrestlers. It's like, how, Sway?
Type shit, right?
I was like, you just collected a paycheck, bro. Like, that's what it is. It's extra revenue for the state. Just say that, and now we're like, all right, cool. Like, it is what it is. Like,
and plus, like with those shows, it's like 90% of the times, like we all know each other, and we've all worked each other, and we know how we all work and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm working with if I'm working somebody, be like, okay, I know that person, I know how they go down, I know how to get down, or like, hey, I worked this person before, we know how to get down and everything. But it's just the commission just be doing that extra for no reason.
Yeah. Well, like one of the things they told me too was like we want to make sure that if you had a concussion, you're not wrestling. It's like, I could lie to you. Like, when was the last? Like, one of the questions that they asked you is like, when was the last time you got a concussion? I was like, yesterday, 2011, fucking never. Like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, they're like, well, we just want to make sure you're safe. I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, I could lie to you all day, and there's nothing you're gonna do. Like, when's the last time you worked a wrestling match? How is that relevant to you? Why does that matter? I could have worked yesterday, and you wouldn't have known. I could tell you last month, last year. It doesn't matter. Like, I've been trained for this shit. Like, yo, like you gotta get out of here with that. It's crazy.
I wouldn't say that out loud, but
it's on this podcast, bro. Like, someone's paying attention, they're gonna hear me. I'm gonna come back to the area, and they're gonna be like, when was the last time you worked a wrestling match? I'll be like, actually, it's right here in my notebook. Who you want to see? Like, I have the match too.
Right.
It was too much. It was way too much. That's my problem.
Sure.
It's like,
yeah.
If you want to say like I said, if you want to say like you're doing it because it's an extra revenue for the state, hey, by all means, say that. Don't tell me you're here for my protection, because no corporation is ever here for the person. They're not.
But like also it's like, especially when it has to do, me personally, like if it has to do with health concerns, do it legally and do it correctly.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
if you don't, then that's gonna come back and bite you in the ass, and that whole what's it called? That whole thing you work for and everything like that, that license, not like workers, but like for them, the medical field and all that stuff, like all that stuff in your license you work for and everything like that, it can get revoked and all that stuff, and you wouldn't like that because you worked hard to get it. You know what I'm saying? And plus, like with us busting our ass and trying to make the best show possible and get much revenue for it, like get everybody put on and all of that stuff, and it's just like you're here deferring that from happening because of how you are doing this.
Yeah,
you're like low-key charging way more than what you're supposed to charge for, and you're taking money out of the pockets of the performers, you're taking money out of the people that staff, you're taking money away from the booking, and you are taking away money from the fans. And that's the thing about it, how we see it on our side compared to what they think they know.
Yeah. Well, I know a certain commission that blackballed 2 wrestlers from AEW because they had a lights out match in their state, and then they blackballed them. And I was like, well, they're just gonna pay the fine and keep moving. Like, what was the point? Like, why did you?
Yeah, but they got the money, so
yeah. Well, I get that. That is true. Well, the company does. I don't know. I mean, I know they.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The company was like, whatever, write that check, bro. They come back and they're gonna wrestle in Baltimore whenever they want. Anyway, moving. Yo, we hopped into this topic. We just got right into like this part. But let's hop. I want to know, man. Like, who is Elijah Friday?
Elijah Friday is who he is, and that is royalty. That is somebody who was it is a first generation Trinidadian. Like his family came to this country with nothing. His parents were invited to this country by a friend, and when they came to this country, they never found that friend. That friend never met up with them, and to this day, 30 plus years later, they still have not seen or heard from them. And came up from the struggle back. Then they had their second child, in Jamaica, Queens, New York, and was raised up in Canarsie, Brooklyn, New York, back in the early '90s. And coming up from that is like it's a different ballgame, a different struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like you are born and raised in the country of America, but your principles and your teachings is Trinidadian and Caribbean. So it's like an identity crisis, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So like so Olijah knew that like at a young age, he had to work hard, not only work hard, but fight for what he has, because at the end of the day, like he knew that he saw the royalty in his family. He saw the love and respect that they were given by other people. So as he grew older, he knew that his father taught him how to be powerful and how to make things happen and how to work hard for what you get. And his mother taught him how to love others that love you and support others that support you, and also how to cook. So like, and of course having an older sister, you know, like you see like the growth in her, the hard work that she's done, and the beautiful woman that she has grown into, and seeing the princess treatment, if you will, to how the family treats her and how the world treats her. And you grow up and realize that like you see the crown that your father had, you see the crown that your mother had, you see the crown that your sister had. So it's only right that you know the worth of yours. So that's why I knew I was royalty. I knew I was a prince since I was at the age of 5. And like and one thing about it is that like as growing up, I was always like always had a mouth talking back and everything like that. I got in a lot of fights and everything like that, but I fell down 7 times, but I stood up 8, and to this day I still do that. So as time went on, he was watching a bootleg version of Lean on Me on cassette. If y'all, for those younger that know, we have this thing called cassette tapes. So there's this big black little box, and they have tape, and they have a movie on it, and you put it inside something called a VCR. And after the movie was over, he was getting up to take it off, and then it cut off, and the first thing you see is an old WWF turnbuckle with the logo on it, and you're like, "What's going on?" And then the first person you see is this man with a robe, crown, specter, all of that stuff, and a nice little robe. And he talked funny. And then you come to find out that man name is Macho Man Randy Savage. So seeing that charisma and everything on TV, I was like enamored with it. And then I watched him have a match, and it was with a certain fellow named Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So to my earliest memory, like I watched it and I was enamored with everything. And from there, growing up, I didn't have cable. So I had this one channel called UPN. Then one Thursday night at 8 o'clock, I'm seeing these big letters that says SmackDown on the TV. And then I'm seeing The Rock, I'm seeing Triple H. And then like now I'm seeing all of them. And then like I just do more digging to find something. I find home movies. So I watch a lot of Bret Hart. I watch a lot of like Rey Mysterio back as WCW, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, all of them and everything. I was enamored with the wrestling, but I was more enamored with the art, the story, the presence of it all. And then from there, just decided to, as life went on, in 2013, I joined the Navy, and I came back from a deployment in 2015, and I was watching wrestling again, and then I was like, what am I doing? So after that, I took my phone and I Googled the school and found it. And that a couple months later, like they invited me to come and try out, see where I was at. And they liked me. And then from there, I didn't know about my royalty. I forgot about my royalty and everything. But like I was confident, I was cocky, and then hence I used to be called the motion picture. And as time went on, um, I realized that like I shouldn't be an actor because I know I am royalty in real life. Why would I act that way? So now, so now I was thinking about it, and then one of my phone was playing music and started playing soca music. Soca music is uh, the main music style of Trinidad and Tobago. So like, think in a regular way, think reggae music, go-go music put together in an up tempo. Because I had this album on my phone because I had the CD when I was a kid back in 2003. It was a soca mixture, and like next you know, I hear about Machel Montano. That's the time I learned about Machel Montano. I learned about Destra and everything like that, and all other soca artists. And as time went on, I'm like, I want to represent my royalty. I want to represent my culture, and so soca music gives people energy. So that's when I put it together. Is like the soca Prince Elijah Friday. Normally, originally, it is fully the soca Prince of wrestling because I don't make soca music for now. But like, but the soca Prince Elijah Friday, boom, 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 boom. Easy rhythm, easy way to catch it, easy way to say it. And from then on to now, I've just been in the ring, passing that on, whether my opponents want to learn it in a simple way or they want to learn it in a physical way. Hence, I'm still trying to make sure that the royalty is still being seen all around the nation and all around the world.
No,
So
so we got a lot to unpack, right?
yeah, I'm sorry, it's a lot.
No, and it's great though because like you and I like we have like walked like similar like lifestyles, but we like and clearly like anybody who knows like I'm like old as shit, but we've walked like these similar lifestyles where we both were we both found wrestling. Coincidentally, the first time I ever saw anything with pro wrestling related was when Jake the Snake Roberts let Macho or had Macho Man getting bit by the Cobra. Like that's how I started into wrestling. So coincidentally, like both of us, like we had Macho Man in our life, and like he's such a big influence in like his personality, the way he delivered, the things that he said, right, and even the fact that when like when he's on the Arsenio Hall, right, doing an interview and pulled the curtain back and like I remember Arsenio Hall asking like, "Hey, does the Macho Man cry?" And the Macho Man was like, "Yeah, the Macho Man cries. I think it's fine for a man to cry." I was like, "Whoa, wait, what? What's happening here?" But
Yeah.
the more you see like the heavily influence, and then coincidentally for me as well, WCW was a big influence in my life. Dean Malenko, Juventud Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, clearly who's my favorite wrestler of all time. Billy Kidman, and then you had Raven and all those guys, and then you got the bigger, larger than life characters as well as like The Rock, Stone Cold, Goldberg was in there too. I know he's not the name to talk about, especially when we're recording this week. Bret Hart was just on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
But like, there's like so many great influences and stuff wrestlers that got us involved, and then we also, like you said, you were in the Navy back in 2013. I had joined the Air Force in 2008, well, 2006, and then in 2012 I got out. But it's just like the stories that just kind of line up, and then we both got into pro wrestling like after that. And I remember me myself like getting in, like I would just tell myself like I have to figure out something to do because I was so busy trying to satisfy everybody else's wants. Like oh, well, I want you to go to
Yeah.
college. I want you to do this. I want you to join the military. I want you to do, and I was doing all these things that everybody else wanted. I never did anything that I wanted to do until I got into pro wrestling. And when I got into pro wrestling, I was like, this is me. Like, I've wanted to do this forever. And like, even for you, like, you had that moment where you were watching wrestling and you told yourself, like you were like, what am I doing? And
It
then you
was
started
that.
doing schools.
Yeah, it was that. It was an epiphany. It was that whole epiphany. Like, it's like a kid. Like, sometimes, like, you can remember the first time you really caught consciousness. It was like that, and it was just like, what am I doing? Because when I was a kid, I used to, like, my sister. She had this big dresser, and across the room, probably like maybe 4 feet away, 4 or 5 feet away, was the bed. I used to jump from that dresser all the way to the bed and just splash onto it. So I feel like, honestly, like, low key, high key, this is a calling. So
That's what told me too, was the same thing. Was like, I remember I was like in the gym working out, and I saw this kid with a John Cena t-shirt, and I was like, yo. So we started talking, rapping it back and forth, and then like slowly I ended up running into him again in a grocery store, and I was just like, hey, like, what do you do? And he was like, well, I'm a wrestler. I was like pro wrestling? And he was like, well, not exactly. And I was like, oh. I was like, how do I get involved with that? And then like I got brought in, some little training here and there. And then one of my other friends who was in the pro scene was like, if you want to do this, you're going to go do this. You go talk to this person. And that's what opened the door for me, was just that opportunity, that challenge. And then I was like, cool. So I texted the person. I was like, yo, I'll be there in January. I just want to finish up some stuff here, and I'm going to be there. And he was like, all right, cool, whatever. And I showed up in January, and I was there for 4 years, just like working and training and going on shows and stuff like that because of him. And it's crazy to think that like the way that the world works. But I had the epiphany too, that was like, oh, this is my chance. This is the moment that I was like, oh, I have to do this, and I pulled the trigger and went for it.
man, because I'm like, that's one thing about it. It's like, yo, if you feel like, no matter, even outside of pro wrestling, it's like, if you have a dream, like, just go, don't stop. You're gonna have ups and you are going to have downs. That is the name of the game in anything you do. And but like, I'm thankful for like joining when I did, because when I joined, that's where I met Billy Dixon. He trained like a month or 2 months before me. He got there a couple months before me, but he just started. And like, when like, from being there, it was like we stayed true to the game, because it's like our trainer, because we did this voluntarily. It's like, me and him watched old film till our eyes bleed, and we chain wrestled in this warehouse with one big spotlight on the ring, and we just chain wrestled for like 30 minutes, if not probably an hour. We were like the first ones there in training. We were the last one to leave. And like, we've always, and like, shout out to him, and like the things that he's done, the magic that he's created with everything that he's done out here in pro wrestling cannot be denied. That like, we still like, he is like we are in our blood, but he is family to me. And like, we would still watch film together. We would watch our matches, break it down, tell you what you did good, tell you what you did, what you could improve on, and all that stuff. Like, he'll show me something. I'd be like, well, probably you can do this right here. At this point, you can try this. And then I'll show him my stuff. He'd be like, okay, if you do that, do this and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, the chemistry, like the bond that we have, I feel like is really unmatched. And anybody in the game, as you know, should really have like, we're all like, majority of us, I wouldn't even say all because I don't know, but like, to my extension, like, majority of everybody, like, I know, and everything in those room and everything like that is like cool, awesome, and all of that stuff. And then even the young guys that we see now up and coming out here in the DMV area, who are just as, you can see how hungry they are, like how we are, especially when we started. They want to learn, they want to know more, they want to be in there. And we have to, as the veterans, we have to like install the knowledge in them and teach them the ways, and then show them what to do, and also put them on the path with connections and teaching them the game. Because like, I always tell like my junior guys here, in wrestling. It's like, look, there's more to it than just going in the ring and knowing what to do. There's more to it than that. And like I would say that, shoot, myself, I need to improve on it. Like reaching out to more promotions, going to shows, going to those shows, doing those drives, introducing yourself, shaking hands, helping out with the ring setup and all of that stuff, then driving back home and not and like that's and all that stuff and come back home late and everything. That's the game. You know what I'm saying? Like the DMV, we have magic here. We have magic in the DMV. Like you said, there's Next Up, there's Brew, there's RVA Pro Wrestling, there's Fight Club. There, there's there is there is something going on in DMV. I don't care what anybody have to say, talk about there ain't nothing going on in DMV and all that. There is something here. We put it out. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, well, like a lot of us, we still make those 5+ hour drives to go to the show, perform, and drive all the way back home the same night. We still do that, and we tell everybody like, listen, like, we got Next Up, bro. We got Next Up here. Hey, we got RVA over here. Hey, we have Pro Wrestling Vibe. Hey, we got what's the name? We got Fight Club. We have the magic here. We have the stuff here. But going back, it's like, make that dream happen. You just got to put yourself out there. You got to, a journey with 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And one thing my dad told me, you guys ask God to order your steps, but you got to move your feet. So like there's more to it. Like you got to put in the work and everything like that.
Yeah, I always the one thing I tell people too is like the hardest part of the journey is always the start. Like
yeah.
Like you have to acknowledge that, like, yo, like I'm gonna take this first step, and then from there, wherever it leads, right? Like everybody who, like even me being a trainer, like a personal trainer, like I always tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, the hardest thing to do is just come in and be like, hey, I want to sign up, like for the gym, not just for personal training, just for the gym, and then from there it's like, all right, now I gotta start this thing off, right? There's this great video, that I love watching, and I go back and watch every once in a while just because it's a beautiful piece put together. But it's about this dude who breaks up with his girlfriend, right? And there's like big heartbreaks. But then he goes to the gym. In the title of the video, I think it's called like Tiny Puddles or something like that, right? But this dude goes to the gym, he starts working out, right? And he makes like little sweat puddles. And then the little sweat puddles, he goes back again to the gym and he starts going. Those little sweat puddles become big sweat puddles, right? But what eventually happens is that he gets himself in like really good shape, and then he meets somebody who else is also on their journey of having little sweat puddles, and then eventually they make big sweat puddles, right? Gross, but it is what it is. But what we're getting out of it is like, if you don't start that journey, you're never going to know where it's going to lead you. And if you got to make the little steps. And it's cool to hear that you and Billy put in like the 10,000 hours of like film study and like learning your craft and building on it and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, that's how we all become masters at our craft, right? And I'm not saying that we know everything in there, but there's a lot of advice to be able to give out. Like if you're going through, even for me, I was just telling Sicken, right? That's my trainer. I was just telling him, I was like, it was weird to have somebody come to me and tell me, hey, one, can you watch my match and then give me notes? And then two, I know that you're out looking at different talent. Can you suggest some names of people that you would like to see work in our promotion? And I'm like, whoa, like, is this what my life is like starting to turn? Like, I know, like, I like, even for me, like, I know, like, I probably got like, fair, right? I probably got like 4 or 5 years left in me before I'm like, you know what, it's really time to hang it up. But then to look back and be like, yeah, I could definitely talent scout for people and be like, yo, I think this will be a good fit for your promotion, or I think this is a good person that you might want to look at. Talk to this person right here. I want to be that guy. I want to be the one that networks in and just like helps build like everybody else's like promotions. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm a support character, but I'm like the jack of all trades for support characters. Like you definitely want me. I'm who would I say? I could be everybody Bruce Wayne to their Superman, you know what I mean? Like their Clark Kent. Definitely. I find a lot of diamonds in the roughs and bring them out. Like one of my friends, he made a suggestion. He wanted a wrestler. I'm gonna put her name out there. He wanted to work Gypsy Mac, right? But he never has been in contact. He thinks like she's a great wrestler. He didn't have no way of getting in contact with her. So I slid into DMs. I was like, yo, Gypsy, like it's been a while since we talked because I've had her on the podcast. And so she was like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, hey, I'm gonna put you in contact with this promoter. He wants to book you for a match in Massachusetts. She lives in Vegas. So she's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to open up doors for people. I was like, yo, I can just go reach out. And I guess this podcast has helped, bring in that we've had almost 400 episodes now.
No,
But it's
congratulations.
just, thanks. But it's just fun because like I bring on people that I want to talk to, and then I build up my knowledge based on their experiences and learn what they've gone through. And then just like,
And
I get to
vice
vibe and like,
versa.
talk to them.
Yeah, and vice versa.
100%. 100%. Yo, so we've talked about kind of like the moment that got you into the business. I'm curious because I know you have one of these stories. What's the worst bump you've taken?
Oh Jesus. Man, okay. I was in California. So I was in a tag team match with my man. And well, no, we were a tag team. His old like his gimmick, his name is Bulletproof, but he changed it. Shout out to Millennium Pro Wrestling, by the way, in California. If you are in the Southern California area, please check out Millennium Pro Wrestling. Every Friday night they have a show, and it is bangers on bangers on bangers, and you will see a lot of people that you watch on TV now, like Psycho, or even before, like Psychosis or Samoa Joe and all of them. They all wrestled there, if not started there. And Christopher Daniels, just to name a few and everything. But shout out to Millennium Pro Wrestling. Like when I got stationed out there, they invited me there, and they treated me with nothing but love and respect. And like honestly, like that's my home promotion pretty much. But me and him had a grudge match. I we was going ham and everything like that. And we're outside the ring. So he so I go for something, he dodges it, he kicks me, and then he picks me up almost like a back suplex, and then I drop right there on the apron of the ring. And the thing is, the ring is one of them short boys, the small ones. You know what I'm saying? So like, boom, I felt that. So I was like, ugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel everything regardless. So I'm saying that's the name of the game. But so after the match, I get attacked from behind from him, and then locker room staff and everybody, they come and break it up. And like I look at that film, and I'm just like, Jesus, this man really snuck me. But then he grabs my hand to shake it. I'm like, what's going on? He pulls me in, grabs me, twists me. I am hot. I'm up. He's like my height. And like we're short. But like as soon as he picks me up and drops me almost to the back of the head area. So boom. And then I'm like, but thank God that I have a short neck. It's easy for me to tuck my chin, which I did. And when I landed, boom, it was like in the back of my head, and I folded up, and like I tried to stand to show it, but then it's just like my body, like I was squatted and I was on my toes and I fell back. And then like I still have that video. I'll send it to you so you can see it. Like my boy was there, he recorded it. He was like, wow, and then you hear him say, oh. So he doesn't, and he's not into pro wrestling like that, but like he's, you know what I'm saying? But he understands like dangerous situations or like close calls because he's a dancer. So like shout out to my bro Gumby. He's like a dancer and everything. So he's seen it. And like after that, I'm like, they're picking me up, they shove me, I get to the back, and like I'm like on 10. I'm like, bro, drop me on my head. Like the apron bump, okay, cool, no problem. You know what I'm saying? I can take those all day, no problem. But yo, and then as soon as I go back and I see him, he's right there, like, brother, you okay? I'm so sorry and everything. I was like, they popped though. So I'm like, I'm like, I'm like, it's cool. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to work on how you land the person up there. Cause like, if you want them to make it look like you're dropping their head, you have to land them on like their higher, lower back and have their chin tucked to make it look like that.
Yeah.
But you legit like drop me there and everything. But like, and then he's like, bro, I'm so sorry and everything. I'm like, bro, it is cool. Cause one thing about MPW is like, after the show, they'll probably go out and have some drinks or something like that, then watch everybody's match of feedback. And like I love that. And as soon as we watched it, I was like, that's when we was like, this shit gotta pop. So you know what I'm saying? But that was the worst bump I've ever taken to my knowledge at the moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was scary. I don't know why it was scary because stuff like that could possibly paralyze you. But now that I look back on it, it's just like, whew, thank God. So,
Bruh.
I would say that was the worst bump I've ever taken.
Mm.
For real.
I think okay. So one, like apron bumps aren't like I've taken a couple apron bumps, especially like on low boys. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's not like, and you're right, like they suck, but this was like I mean, it is what it is, and you just kind of like grit it. But to
Yeah.
just like, have someone like high stack you like that, like oh yeah, that's another. I'm glad they apologized to you in the back because you know
Yeah.
because at that point I walk in the back and be like, hey yo, what the fuck, bruh?
Yeah, for real, for real. But the thing about it is like but the thing I definitely appreciated about it is that he knew. Some people like they would be like, "Hey, good man, that was great, wasn't it?" I'll be like, "Are you? Can I cuss on here? Oh no,
Yeah, 100%. I just dropped the F
yeah.
bomb twice.
Oh yeah. My bad. It's like, are you fucking serious, bro? But he knew, hashtag me on that and everything like that. He knew he took accountability.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who like they'll do something crazy and they don't take accountability. And that's when like the fight. That's like when things go wrong, things go south. But he took accountability and everything. I'm like, you know what? It's cool because me as royalty, if I mess up something for my people or even my sake, I take accountability. I'm like, it's on me. I can't blame nobody else.
Bruh, let me tell you, that is a crazy. So like that is the craziest thing to hear. Like you say, right? That just take accountability for what you do and what happens, right? If you mess up, you messed up, right? I you know, I've injured people before by accident, but I've taken accountability. Yo, it was my fault. I did this,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
You know, and I felt horrible about it. I've watched people legit injure another person and then blame that person for like getting injured. And I remember like the one time, a good friend of mine, right? And I'll say he's a good friend of mine. He injured another wrestler that I had started training, who was also a friend of mine, and he told the doc because he's gonna know exactly who this is once I describe the situation. He did a moonsault and he landed shin to chin on my friend's face. And he blamed that person because he said he didn't turn his face. And I was like, dog, even if he turns his face, right? His whole shin was shin to chin, bro. I was like, that is you're dominating somebody's face that way. And so they acknowledged it and then they went and apologized. But I was like, yo, but the initial was you blamed that person. You didn't take accountability.
Yeah.
You didn't say it was on me. You said it was on them and told the doc that because you're trying to bail yourself out of trouble. Like, no, bro.
Right. Like, come on now. Like, be the bigger person, man. Like, have some basic ass principles and manners, bro. Like you go to somebody else, they give you a glass of water, you drop it, accidentally break the glass. You're gonna be like, well, you shouldn't have made it so cold, and I wouldn't have dropped it. Like what?
Shouldn't have so much condensation on this thing, okay?
Right.
It's hot in your house, like, glass slipped out. Like
man, you should have put three blocks of ice instead of 4. Like what? Like
I don't like ice. Like that makes my hand too cold. That's why I dropped it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like my fingertips are sensitive and everything like that. Like come on, man. Like the thing about it, like with especially like good promotions, like the booker hears and sees all, and
Yeah.
if they see the match and you could clearly like in Trinidad they say like I understand God give you ears so sometimes you can't hear, but God gave you eyes so you can fucking see. Like you can see that you did this move and then you did it wrong and you almost hurt the person, and then you go back there and then you be like, oh well, that's on you and all that stuff. And there's the rest of the people in the back who watch the match and they're gonna be like
Mm-mm.
and the promoter's gonna be like, what happened? And they're gonna get the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like wow.
Yeah. No, it is like, it is what it is. Like it comes down to it. And I think it goes with life, right? Like accountability matters like in everything that you do. Like,
For sure.
you're responsible for your career, right? Like don't it's funny because like I feel like there's an expectation of like, oh, well, I'm a professional wrestler, you should book me. But like, well, funny enough, there's thousands of professional wrestlers that enter this business every year, and
Every
there's probably
day.
thousands of them who flush out, right? But like at the end of the day, like you can see who controls their career and who doesn't, right? Who's in charge of what they want to do. Did you do, like I've seen it where people were like, well, I should just be booked. Like for what? Like who are you? Like I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
have you done promo videos? Have you marketed yourself? What do you do to make yourself different from other people, right? Because like you could be like, well, I'm a mercenary. Like, okay, well, great, you're a mercenary. There's like 50 million of those guys. Like, what makes you different from the other person?
For sure. That's why with the whole motion picture gimmick that I had when I started is like, bro, I am not Johnny Cage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's plenty of people who have like the movie style gimmick. And that's the thing about making it like that's why I transitioned to what I know and who I am, which is royalty. So that's why I'm like, okay, there's people with a royalty gimmick or something like that in aspect, but there are barely any that actually bring it into a Caribbean standpoint.
Yep.
And like who can switch it at a moment's notice and how to make it work. Like even how to marketing yourself and all that stuff. Like, do you have a the little booking poster portfolio? Shout out to Brian F. Pro, he made mine. J Lee Photography, best in the game, they will make you look like money with these promo shots that they take. In ring and portrait. Your in ring shots and everything like that. They take a million of those pictures, they send you the link, and then like that, boom, you have pictures. Your promos, like you said, how are your promos looking? Okay, a promo for this, you got a match coming up in here. Where's your promo with it? How you marketing it? That's why word of advice for those watching who's like getting in the game or anything like that, have a Google share drive of everything. Everything. Like I got a Google share drive with my portfolio, like my photos, portrait, in match, promos, and a couple matches. So therefore, when you contact one of these promotions, they be like, okay, send us your stuff and everything. And you go to portfolio, boom, you have everything you need there. If they want a link for it, boom, send them the link for it. If they want a couple of stuff, you can make a folder for that and send it to them. Everything. So therefore, everything is neat, organized, easy to access, so they can look at it. And marketing, and like you said, marketing yourself and everything like that. One thing I do love about DMV area is that like when somebody markets something, it is shared and loved and reposted, retweeted, all of that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, hey, here's my portfolio. Boom, like, boom, retweet. Shoot, I'll even quote tweet it again. You know what I mean? Just quote tweet and say something like that and all that stuff. So like, it's self-marketing. It's you are your brand. Like even if you had a clothing line or music, you're doing how you market yourself in wrestling is the same thing like that. You have to put your stuff out.
Yep.
Like you go on TikTok, artists are like reposting or making videos to their song over and over and over again. It's like I saw Tyler the Creator. He had an interview one time. He says, "Just post your stuff." The singer, Rex Orange County, I think his name is something like that.
Yeah.
He put out a song and it only had like 15 views, and Tyler watched it. And after he liked it, he put them on. You never know who's watching. You never know who you can inspire. You like it could take one promo, one video, one match, or one photo to change your whole career and or life. Put it out there. And like marketing is like you say, you just gotta put it out there. You gotta put it out there.
And then like also like when you're doing your promos, right? How are you doing your promos? Do you have a backdrop? Are you doing them in your car? Are you don't know, like not just you, but obviously like a bunch of people out there. Yeah. Because you're not, because both of us, we both understand like, hey, we want to have if I'm doing a promo video, like sitting in this chair, right? I'm looking at the camera. I've got things going on. I know that in my mind, I've got effects that I want to throw into it, right? Or I'll throw a green screen up and then I'll put myself in like outer space. I don't know. I just whatever. Obviously, Red Dog is a Deadpool of like professional wrestling in an aspect of like I love doing comedy, but he's also a mercenary. He's out here to fucking kill people. But like it's how am I going to make this different from other people? Like I legitimately did a whole entire and I got the idea from Kelly McMurphy, who actually he did a promo like pretending that he was Blue from Blue's Clues, and my dog had just passed away, and I wanted to include my dog in a promo, so I wanted to do my promo as Steve from Blue's Clues with my dog being Blue, and I even did all the noise and stuff like that. I was like, burr, burr, like asking like him. So like I wanted that, and I wanted the aspect of him trying to figure out who his next opponent was to be, and so I put it all together, and it was like one of my favorites. But how are you marketing yourself, and how can you make yourself different? Like, I don't think you need to be sitting in your car cutting a promo because you're worried about what some person's going to think about you, right? I legit shot a promo last year, right? In my driveway, right? In the parking lot of my driveway, acting like I'm a politician, trying to get myself from like the win by getting votes. Like I just think that like you have to think about like stuff outside of your world and be and we talk about this a lot. Be comfortable being uncomfortable because like people are gonna be looking at you, even if you're filming something like in your mind, it's gonna be different. So like think about how you're cutting these promos and where you want to be at because those matter. And I got also big shout outs to you said it earlier. I just want to hit the point too. Jay Lee photography, hands down, like my favorite people to get promo shots from. I remember Christina looked at me so weird the first time that she met me, and I was like, "Yo, I want to take a promo, but I want to do it like off the side and just like barely peeking my face in." And she's like, "Okay." So when we did that promo, we did that shot.
It was the one.
Sent it to me.
It's the one you're like this.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yo, and then like I just post that like everywhere, but I tag them in it, right? Just so they see. And then after that, like Christina was like, "Oh, I get it." And so like every time I see her, like I'm like, "Yo, this is how I want to shoot this one." She's like, "We're doing that. We're doing this. We're doing this." And she is like so hyped every time I'm coming around to like shoot. That's why I'm also like I'm upset because like some of the places they go, like I just don't be at, and I'm like, I'm trying to get back into those areas because they understand like the vision that I have and how I want to do like certain photos, and so they're like, yeah, we're just gonna rock with Cliff and whatever he wants to pull.
Yeah, I need to start doing that though, because being on Twitter is nominated Twitter, so I'm gonna call it Twitter. But X, as you can see on above me this way, 3 Count Podcast. Make sure you follow that. But it's like I be seeing people tweet some crazy stuff, and then I'm just looking at my phone like. But then when I see your stuff, I'm like, bro, that is actually smart. He's putting out, he's being funny, but also like he's putting out his promo pictures, so like all of that. But yeah, with promos is like how you use the green screen and everything. I use my crib right here. Like I make it, patio, and also above my kitchen island right here. This light, it's dim because there's something wrong with the electric situation. Is getting fixed, and when I turn it on, it's like it's dimmer and it flickers a little bit. So it catches that aura as like, so when I shoot a promo and then like I'm like planning to shoot a promo and then like I'm seeing that, I'm like, that could really make it nice. Like you can edit it, like editing the flickers and everything is cool, but when you naturally have it, magic. So like I'm planning to do like I'm planning to have my thoughts known for a match I have on the 21st of September in Hampton, Virginia, to a certain man named Oak and Mad Max about their disrespect towards me and my brother. And come that Saturday, they will feel and know my annoyance and everything like that, and our annoyance, excuse me. So now it's like, how would I capture that moment so they can really feel it?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's gonna be a way to let it be known, because it's like there's no edit in it. This is real life because the light is like that. You get what I'm saying? So like capture the magic and put out a promo. When you put out a promo, make it real, make it your feelings, like express how you feel, because sometimes the realer it is, the better it is, because it's real.
Yep.
And like make it cinematic or make it funny, type like that. Like, but yeah, like I'm rambling, but it's like you said, like you have a green screen and everything, make it funny, make it fun, but make the reason be known.
Yep. 100%.
Stuff like that.
Couldn't agree anymore, man. That is the point. Hey, we're gonna hop into my favorite segment of the 3 Count Podcast, which is the 3 Count Podcast 10 Count Questions. And Mr. Friday, this is how it works. I'm gonna fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast, and whatever your answer is, that is your answer.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. So we can put on the imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing! And in the words of my favorite commentator, Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
Damn. Now or before or in general?
Hey, let's just go. Why not both?
Oh man.
Then, now, and forever together.
Both, man. I can't choose.
All right. Let me go. Favorite movie?
New Jack City.
Let's go. Marvel or DC?
I grew up on Marvel more. Love them both though.
Favorite TV show?
Woo. It's a tie. It's a 3-way tie. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Law and Order, and Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay, I like them all. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Favorite cartoon?
I watch a lot of anime, but like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, yes, classic. Love it.
You could like, bro. I tell my dream guys, I'm like, listen, find influences outside of wrestling. Mm-hmm. Anime is a good starting point. And Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z, RIP Akira Toriyama, key factors and all that stuff. Like, they weren't there when Goku first turned Super Saiyan and it messed everybody up. A moment in time.
Yeah, I remember where Goku just wasn't the strongest fighter, and like was just getting hands, and like all of a sudden, like now he's just OP and like just murking everybody, and rightfully so. But I'm just saying, I remember where he didn't win all the tournaments, and there was a reason for it. Apple or Android?
Apple. I had an Android, stayed with a dead battery.
Favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast? The 3 Count. Great stuff.
Yeah. Yo,
go ahead. I don't really like. There's a lot of podcasts. Like, there's a lot of podcasts even outside of wrestling. Like, there is a lot of stuff, but like a lot of them really don't say stuff. But like the 3 Count with y'all and everything is like, well, I'm supporting the homies, but also it's like, I love that it's like 3 different thoughts in the same game, and it's like their discussions are actually valid. So
Yeah.
and I'm not being biased because I'm on
I
it.
appreciate that.
But I am at the same time.
Nominate one person you want to see on this podcast.
One person I want to see on this podcast. I want to nominate two.
Go ahead.
I want y'all to talk to Billy Dixon. I really want y'all to like y'all, like we all know him, that's the homie and everything, that's bro, but like pick his brain, man. This man knows so much of the game. And Faye.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, 100%.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, like I know you said one person, but I actually got more. So Billy Dixon, Faye Jackson, Lovely Laveau, y'all should have her. Avery Jacks, Dante Bishop, the Flip Terry Sequoia, up and coming wrestler out here. I think you met him back at Fight Club. Were you there?
Yep.
Have you met him? Yeah. Him. I already said Avery Jacks. Did I say Dante Bishop?
No, we did say it, but yeah. I got you on point with that.
Yeah,
actually, fun fact, we've already had we've had Jax on the show.
I missed that. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, she's a homie. Yeah, of course.
All right, we'll take her out then since she's already been there. But yeah, off the top, right away, those are the people I can think of for now.
Hell
yeah. But
yeah.
I know it's gonna be more.
But last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person that comes on this podcast: favorite curse word.
Shit.
Yep. It's like, gotta
be. Listen, so besides damn, shit was like the first 4-letter word I really learned because, like I said, in Trinidad, when they say shit, is pretty much damn. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit is on the level that damn is here. Like you can get away with damn in a lot of situations, but here in America, when you say shit, everybody go back. Oh. But in Trinidad, like the kids be saying it, and then adults just be walking by like,
It's another word.
There's other 4-letter words that are way worse that I will not say. You know what I'm saying? But like, but like shit, I'd be like, I probably say it like 100 times a day and I don't even realize it.
It's like I've come to realize, like, when it comes to the podcast, like depending on who I'm talking to, like it'll be like it could be very professional where we're having like a great conversation, or it can just turn into a whole entire curse word slur fest, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, and I don't mean like curse word slur, not like we're using slur, but it's just a curse word of just look like a landslide.
Yeah, and plus being in the military, like us being vets and all of that stuff, cussing is pretty much another language now.
Yeah,
like if I don't hear somebody I know like don't cuss for like 3 days, I'm like, you good?
Okay, right. I know you. There's something weird about you, bro.
Something ain't right. Like if I meet another veteran, like if we are not, and we have like a drink, and I don't hear, and there is no profanity or no cussing for real, were you really in the military? Unless you were a chaplain. But like, were you really?
No, because I've heard some chaplains be like, "Damn," it's just like you do something so bad, and they're just like,
"Damn, my son,
what?" Like, damn, bro, you okay?
Yeah,
you okay?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've known a couple of chaplains to drop at least a D word, right? Saying "damn," like they don't say, or maybe like you kind of being a little ass right now, like I've heard that, but like. Yeah, I've never heard him drop it. Like, they never said shit. But honestly, if you're in the military, your story doesn't start with no shit. There I was. Like, I ain't buying it. You was in the military.
Like if you tell me a story and you just give me the rated E for everyone version, I'm like, bro, what have you done? Like,
I was like, tell that story again. Rewind it back. Tell that story exactly how you would say it if you was around a bunch of veterans versus the elementary school.
Yeah. Like, and this fucking junior guy, like, I'm like, oh, okay.
That's him. And then the fucking new guy came through, and I told him, I was like, yo, mop this bucket. Take this mop bucket outside right now and mop up the rain. I know it's raining outside, but fucking go mop up the goddamn rain.
You'd be like, bro, these FNGs, bro, it's a whole new breed now. These FNGs.
I hate these blue falcons out here.
That's what y'all call them? Like y'all told the new people, like Blue
No,
Falcons.
FNGs definitely, but a good Blue Falcon doesn't exist. Like a good buddy fucker, like the person that turns on you.
I got
Yeah,
you. I
that
got
person.
you.
Yeah, that's
Oh, because Blue Falcon. I've never heard that term. I'm the Navy,
Air
you the Air
Force.
Force. So it's probably
Yeah.
the type thing. Yeah, we call them like new guys. We call them like boots.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna be like, man, I'm tired of this and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, you ain't even get your boots wet. You ain't going to no deployment. You ain't even going to underway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, none of that. You hear?
No, I remember my staff sergeant, man, my first mission I ever worked like in my unit, and then we'll wrap up, guys. Don't worry. He legitimately he was like, "Yo, you're such a new guy." He's like, "You don't even know what the fuck you're doing." He's like, "Get out of my sight," and I was like, "Okay," and just walked away. And he was like, "Get over here," and I was like, "Well, you just told me to leave. What do you mean?"
That's
I'm just like,
crazy.
that's the problem being an FNG. No, but no, that's all my questions I do have for you, man. So the last thing I need for you to do is let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
All right, so let me tell y'all something. Royalty is never hard to find. So, but my virtual palace is on X. It is Olijah Friday, all in one word. OLIJAHFRIDAY. You see the rhythm there? You see the rhythm there? My Instagram, it is exactly the same. OLIJAHFRIDAY. You could follow me on Twitch because I also game. And my Twitch name. Yep, it is Olijah Friday. OLIJAHFRIDAY. Follow me there. And my Facebook is normally just for family and close friends that I actually know. I don't like to mix my business with my personal, so I would not give that. But due to the podcast being on Facebook, I'm pretty sure I will be tagged, but that's all right. If I know you, cool. But if I don't, I am sorry that I am not sorry. Like, but yeah, my X, and my Twitch. All three of those are all the same. But if you can't contact me or can't find me, this guy right here, just ask him where to find me, and then he'll tell you where to find me. Easy day.
Facts. But yo, so he gave you all of his handles. He told you where you can find him. And like every great part of a wrestling match, we gotta take it home because this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And like I said, as your shirt, but it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. So who's entering? You see him right there, the Prince himself, Olijah Friday. You guys know what that means. Tune to the next episode and be there, or you're legitimately follow us on all of our social media platforms. You're checking us out on Spotify. You're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You're listening to us on Amazon Music. You're even listening to us on that dumb app with the stupid jingle that goes iHeartRadio or whatever it is, right? You're buying all of our merch on ProWrestlingTees.com. You're even checking us out on ForYourWear.com because we're there too. You're buying all of our merch. You're telling your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your best friends, and your enemies because we love haters too. You're doing all that stuff, or really you're just waiting for this episode to end, waiting for the outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to. Kawaii. What's going on? It is Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And what we need from you guys is to kind of show some support, right? We want you guys to go to our YouTube channel at the 3 Count Podcast, go onto our Twitch channel, 3 Count Pod, or even our Facebook page, 3 Count Podcast, and just give us a like, follow, subscribe, even give us a comment, right? Do all that cool stuff. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your enemies, right? Or you can even come talk to us and just chat us up, right? Find us on Twitter at 3count_pod. Find us on IG and on TikTok at 3 Count Pod. Go ahead and leave us those comments. We want to hear from all of you guys. We're going to keep putting on videos and stuff like that. We want to keep making this content better, so we want your guys' support. Also, if you guys want to, go support us at ProWrestlingTees.com/the 3 Count Podcast, or even find us on ForYourWear.com. Give us the support. Show us your guys' love because we want to give it right back to y'all. So, in the meantime, between time, love y'all.